Hello, everybody, and welcome back. All right, so as the crew pops into the Artemis Tau relay and into the Gnosis system, you guys are looking around and realize the relay kind of popped out around the fourth planet from the star. So Cattle had been interested in where it was that he was going before, and so he had tried to reach out to the extranet while he was bored lying in bed for a considerable amount of time, and eventually was able to kind of find some data about the system. Now, he didn't really have time to go through it before because, you know, he was trying to not die. So he finally has time to kind of go through it now as you guys pull the system in and you're looking to go and find an area where you can exhaust the ship's, or more or less you can do your space fart, where you're trying to dump the ship's engines into a safe location. So
I still love that description from the first season.
Right?
Not gonna let it go.
So Armeni is the name of the fourth planet, and so you guys are gonna just kind of like head over there since you're already so close to there anyways. It's conveniently this relay, which some relays are locked in space and set there perfectly, and some of them actually go along with an orbit. This one happens to orbit very close by to that planet, making it so it's a very quick drive to bring the ship over to the planet to allow itself to exhaust the engines. So when you guys head over to Armeni, you go out into it and you're exhausting it, and the whole while, Cattle, you're doing your research. In doing your research, you do find out some information, interesting information about Gnosis. One, the fifth planet is Arcanes. It's a gas giant there, and there is like theoretically there's valuable gas or whatnot that can be collected there if you were like a ship that was into that sort of thing. You guys don't have the means to do so meh. There's Armeni, which theoretically this has nothing of note for this planet, nothing that's really that you're gonna have anything beyond exhausting your ship into its atmosphere. The third planet from the sun is Zakros. Once again, nothing really noteworthy about Zakros. You don't have any survey reports or any scout reports or anything about that. The second planet is Therum. You know that that's your destination. You know about everything we've discussed beforehand, that it does happen to be a garden planet, and that there are humans that have a base there for studying Prothean information. But once again, no information about that planet beyond like the stuff that you've already discovered. And you know that the first planet from the sun it's called Phaistos. And so Phaistos is an interesting one because people think that there might be Ezo on Phaistos, but it's close enough to the star that it's kind of dangerous for mining. You'd have to do most mining from within like very good equipment that has to be transported to places like this to be able to find it, something that you can't really do with where you are. However, there in the asteroid belt, you actually did find out information about this asteroid belt. A long while back, there was a Silurian war that happened here. Do you remember, are you familiar, Rick, you personally, and I'm going to explain it anyways, with the war with the, oh my god, the name just skipped me. The reason why the Krogans were uplifted.
Solarian?
The Arachni Wars.
I was thinking Arania, like the D&D race. So with the Arachni, are you familiar with the Arachni War? The sentient...
The broad strokes, yeah.
The sentient and telepathic, psionically adept bug creatures that were trying to take over the entire galaxy, that Solarians uplifted the Krogan to fight them. Well, the Krogan aren't the only ones that fought them. There was a huge effort across the galaxy to fight them. There was a big battle that happened over in this system a long while ago, and many ships were lost. However, the scout report that you have actually says that not that long ago, somebody was passing through the asteroid belt, you know, doing some mining, trying to collect metals and whatnot that can be used for various things, and they thought they picked up an old beacon, like an old Solarian signal beacon coming from within that area. And so it was one of those, like, I almost fell. It was one of those things where you're like, huh, there's at least something that's of Solarian make from a long time ago that's still, I mean, for you, generations ago, that's still functioning out there. Solarians are really good at making things that outlast themselves. You know,
We pride ourselves on it.
Yeah. Is it bad to think that, like, if I, as a human, bought a parrot, my parrot would live longer than your grandchildren? Never mind. Don't think
Dude,
about
turtles.
it. So, you know of this beacon going off over in the asteroid belt. The asteroid belts are always a little difficult to navigate, but you actually have coordinates as to where it is.
Very interesting. Okay. I will definitely raise this point with the crew, although I suggested we first head to Therum to do our business there, because that will free up our cargo space, hopefully, meaning we can bring more stuff.
So you suggest to the crew, what do they say?
You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Crew like stuff, okay.
So do you want to fly, just do the best you can to avoid the asteroid belt as much as possible?
I imagine we just head to Therum first. Like, we're on the 4th planet right now. We're done space farting.
Yep, so you're going to more or less make your way over, because the way belts work is they eventually kind of almost hit. I mean, everything's third dimensional, right? But it's not like the stuff that sits on the rim of a solar system that's like big blocks of the ice that float all around, almost making a solar system itself seem like it's encased in a shell. It's, for the most part, in a two-dimensional ring, asteroid belts that are just wider than you might think. So anyways, you guys are able to fly like over it or whatever, and it takes, you know, about, I think it's about the better part of a day. I think it's 18 hours to get from one planet over to the next one, because now you're traveling at your sublight speeds. Very fast, though. And you're able to get over to Therum. So from outside of Therum, you're going to be able to use your scout report, not scout report, sorry, your scanner to start looking.
Okay. I will go and...
do you have a scanner?
try.
Or just Krax?
I have a survey scanner.
Krax has a
Krax has the survey scanner, yeah.
You can use just your basic ship equipment.
Survey scanner would be better, wouldn't it?
I mean, I'll just use the survey scanner. It's fine.
Krax,
Yeah, but... Krax is gonna break it. I swear to God, he's gonna break it immediately.
Krax is like the kid at the grocery store that picks up like the barcode scanner, and he's like pew pew pew.
Okay, go ahead. I will be standing behind you, watching you as you do it. But yeah, I will.
Yeah, so-
I will allow you to go through with it. You know, the thing that you have.
And you, Rick,
You
could you
shouldn't
roll
have.
me your intelligence perception check?
I mean, if anyone else wants it, yeah, Crax will just hand it to them. He'll just expect it back.
Oh yes, well I would have asked, but you know, you would have charged me a frickin' million credits to lend it.
No, I would have charged you if you wanted to buy it.
Okay, then I ask you, Krax, could I please use your survey scanner for a bit?
In that case, yeah, Crax just hands it to you. So he
Cool.
takes it from his belt, hands it to you.
That was a lot easier than I anticipated it would be. I was imagining me letting you do the check and then being like, hey Krax, you need to do it like this and that, and basically backseat game you into doing it properly.
So
No, it's Crax's property, but you know.
This is the
We'll
first
lend it
time
out.
my scheming is like, oh yeah, no, you could have just done that really simply.
does Krax have a label maker where he literally puts like property of Krax? Does he have like a knife where he carves into things crudely Krax, or does he just like lick everything?
No, he
Our
just
entire army is
has
property
a
of
knife,
Krax.
Which
and he'll just stab people that take his stuff without permission.
okay, well,
I mean,
That also
much,
works.
much easier.
so he's like, no, property of Krax.
Exactly.
Okay, so you try to scan the planet with your scanners on the ship. It's a matter of the ship's atmosphere. The ship's atmosphere and some sort of signal that's like coming off of the planet. The planet's atmosphere, and some sort of signal that's coming off of the planet is making it so your scanners are going AWOL, so it's haywire, so you cannot get much reading of what's going on down below. As a matter of fact, you can't even pinpoint exactly where this Alliance base is. You just know that it's down there. You can't even find it with the ship's scanners. So you're going to use the survey scanner to try to check out the planet and see what you can. You find out about the pressure and everything else down there. So let's go into it. Air pressure is at 0.68. The temperature is 59 degrees Celsius, and gravity is 1.12 G. So it's actually pretty comfortable down there. It is pretty darn comfortable down there. Its days are 28.3 Earth hours, so it's a little bit longer than days here. And the season, looking at it, the season for because it's, north versus south seasons, because of the axis, the north seems to be in summer and the south seems to be in winter.
Okay. I would like to use the survey scanner to try and do a more advanced scan, specifically for Protean technology.
Sure. So that was your survey scanner initially giving you that. Why don't you roll for me an intelligence perception check with the survey scanner?
It's actually a lore check. Or a no-skill check.
Oh, sorry, no check.
According
My
to...
apologies. No, thank you.
That's the one thing I decided to look up recently. There we go.
My apologies.
Thanks!
That was a beautiful one. Look at that. You roll well sometimes. So you're trying to find out where this is. So what it is like I said, the shit is going haywire for the actual ship scanners. And so you're like, okay, there's more. You're a smart person. There's more to this than, like, I should be able to scan the fucking planet, but you can't. So instead what you choose to do is you choose to, like, kind of grab where it seems like a signal disruption is coming from the actual ship's information, and use that, having Trevi fly the ship over near that area and start using the scanner to scan down there with that. And then scanning down into the planet using the survey scanner, you're actually able to find around where it is that all of this disruption is coming from. More than that, because you rolled well enough, you believe that not only are you able to scramble the scans from out, you believe, the scans of the out shooting in, you believe that that's also scrambling scanners that might be able to identify you. And so if you were to hide behind, like, the curtain of this scramble, others wouldn't be able to notice your ship coming into orbit. Eventually they'd be able to see you just with, eyesight.
The naked eye, yes.
Yeah, but scanners won't be able to pick you up.
Okay.
If you do it well.
I will hand back the survey scanner to Cracks. Thank you very much for letting me borrow it, Cracks. Could I, once we start talking to the humans, perhaps borrow your translation torque? It might make it a bit easier to convince them that we're here on a mission for them.
Krex, takes the survey scanner back, kind of furrows his brow when you say use the translation torque for the humans. Because we don't need the translation torque for the humans?
You can always question him without being,
But they're part of the universal translator. Is like, Krax is basically questioning why you would need it when we don't need it, when they're already in the universal database.
Yeah, Cracks, but humans are weird creatures. They have a ton of, different accents, basically. Well, I believe they call it languages, but, they all come from different places. They talk in weird, different things. I just like to make sure that they feel at home talking to us. If we're going to be... I'm basically going to pretend to them that I'm part, or at least working for the Alliance. And so I think it'll be good for them to hear the little accent that they're familiar with.
You can borrow it if we need it.
Okay.
One of those awkward things where it's like, I need it. Oh, I forgot it on the ship.
Yep.
Okay, so you guys start to plot your course to find out where it is you think is the best place to land. Now, where it is the best place to land, you've done all the surveying and whatnot, but you actually think, because you're reading signals coming up from down there, you're going to need someone to do an electronics check to find out where this blanket or signal is best to hide behind.
Oh yeah, I would bring in Winnie and Tremilia. We'd be discussing this in the bridge.
Sure. Winnie, you're up there.
Mm-hmm. So Winnie's advice would be super practical. Would be well, it's best if you do it over here, but she wouldn't be taking into the deception part of it at all.
Mm-hmm. So hers is for safety of landing and efficiency and whatnot, not taxing the engines.
Essentially.
Yeah, I do agree that we should approach like we have nothing to hide, which will aid in the deception of being there with a legitimate reason. I have made arrangements to try and make that easier. So I think it's best if we go in, with our hands open, trying to signal that we are not here as a threat. However, Tremilia, it seems like a good idea for you to be aware of where the best place to be is for if we do need to end up being a bit more, shall we say, clandestine.
Well, in a situation like this, we know where their base is, or at least generally where it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I say that we jettison our cargo over in a space where we know it can be safe. Perhaps head back to the asteroid belts, choose an asteroid that seems like it's not going to collide with another. Strap down our cargo there, and collect other bits of stuff that we can hold on to. Maybe we can strap some fuel onto a nice large asteroid, haul that over this way, using the ship tender mount for that. Line it up the best that we can, and just kind of rocket the asteroid at their base.
I had a feeling she was going to go for that.
Listen,
that sounds like a good backup plan to have.
It's something that, it's a little tricky, but as long as they don't know that we're here, we have time to rig it all together. And she turns to Winnie. Winnie, what do you think? Do you think you can get like a rocket boost to line up an asteroid?
Ooh.
We'll have to plot
Maybe?
the trajectory so like as it hits the atmosphere, it kind of curves, and we get enough crap down below that we can throw some heat shields on there so it doesn't burn up, to make sure that we crater their entire colony.
Now, if we just sell them the hydroponics, we're a lot closer to getting that awesome ship you were talking about and might be able to get for us.
We can sell the hydroponics to somebody else that needs it. We don't need to sell the hydroponics to humans. We can just kill them. There's Prothean tech down there. Why even deal with the humans? Let's just take the Prothean tech. You can sell that.
I mean, we also need to go down there and grab a few of their batteries. So we need to land there either way. It's best not to drop an asteroid before landing there, because then we can actually get the bits we're supposed to get.
Listen, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying we can ask them for the batteries, or we can just pick the batteries that are left over up out of the crater.
She'll turn to Cracks like it's like a legitimate suggestion. She's like, "Do you know how to drop an asteroid on somebody?"
Rex shrugs a bit.
We actually did this. We actually did this before. It was my ship that would drop things on.
Yeah, you were
humans.
doing that around Shanxi, weren't you?
Yeah. Actually, it was the captain was amazing, and he called us in and asked us for our opinions, and that was what we came up with, and it works very well. We would actually drop their satellites on them. That worked better because satellites have built-in boosters and whatnot. Human tech. So we would just hack the satellites and just have their own VI plot the trajectory and drop their satellites right on them. Do you think we can scan for satellites around here? Maybe we can use those instead.
Cracks would just speak up at this point. Just say, yeah, the people that want the batteries want them undamaged because the last thing we gave them was slightly damaged, and they'll probably kill us all if we don't give them something that's undamaged. We can do this afterward. We get the batteries down.
All
Yeah,
right.
and that was like a tactical hole too. They were still upset about it.
Well, I suppose we don't have to kill the humans. I just usually, it's the best way to, like, if you find an infestation in your house, you don't make a deal with them. You usually try to eliminate the entire nest.
I just sit there without emotion on my face because I've gotten very good at hiding that. I'm just kind of sitting there, half amazed, half face palming. It's like, I admire Raja, but at the same time, fucking hell. Just kind of silently just taking it in.
All right, well,
So, unfortunately, we're gonna have to fly up to them.
then can I request staying on the ship? Because I feel like if I come face to face with the human...
I wasn't going to ask you.
Okay, good,
Don't worry about it.
good.
If things go sideways there, we'll make sure to shoot a few for you.
Oh, I've got a gun. And then she kind of gestures towards the roof of the ship. I've got a couple of guns. Okay, so you guys are, or the console, I should say. And so she is going to do exactly what you asked her to do, which is she has to land the ship where it is that you guys need to land or whatever. You're going to hop onto the comms to communicate with them. You're not going to hide behind the curtain to hide your approach, or you're going to hide your approach and then contact them as you get close.
We will not hide our approach.
So you're going to make it very obvious. Okay?
Yes.
So you guys planned that. Winnie, you came up with the best way of possibly doing it, because that was like what you thought was the best way to do it. And you guys all hit your stations and start flying in. Tremi is doing the flying in. Oh, by the way, Antari also had the opinion of not just dropping a bunch of shit on the people and killing them.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Shocking.
She was like against that opinion, and again, it was one of those things where she kind of looks at Tremi like, okay. But
Yeah, even Krax is kind of against the idea. Shocking.
I imagine
They
Antari
can't fling
actually
daggers
appreciated
back at
the
us
fact
that
Krax
way.
was against it. Yeah. What was that?
They can't fling daggers at us. Like, eh.
Yeah. So you guys start to land the ship and bring it in. So immediately as you hit atmosphere, you kind of like go underneath that blanket of what was disrupting your signal before. It almost seems as though that blanket was literally just in a layer of the atmosphere, just kind of like almost like a static charge that existed there to block anything from passing through it. So as soon as you come through this blanket to the other side, all of a sudden your scanner's picking up all sorts of things everywhere all over. But at the same time, it picks up the fact that there is a beacon coming to you. Somebody's like trying to hail your ship. Do me a favor before you answer the hail. Roll for me a perception intelligence check. You, Rick, because you're on comms. Ooh. You notice that there are locks on your ship.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Okay. So, bing, is comms.
I will like motion for Krax to get the translator torque. I will like mimic the word please with, not saying it actually, because at this point I've picked up the phone probably, but I would mouth it like, please get me the translator torque.
Hey Scott, for somebody not familiar with Sci-Fi or Mass Effect, what are locks on our ship? Exactly.
They basically locked their weapons onto us.
Yep.
They're ready to fire.
They
Okay.
are ready to fire, exactly. Yep. So they're.
I
more or
wasn't sure
less-
if they locking our doors, like locking our like.
No, you're fine. So they
Okay.
they more or less they are targeted at your ship and they can fire. Does that mean they automatically succeed? No, but what that does mean is they probably have some sort of projectile coming your way, like a missile, coming your way,
gotcha.
not just like pew 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 pew.
Each
So-
getting
Top
radar
Gun.
guided, whatever.
Don't worry, it's not nukes like last season.
Not yet.
Not yet. All right.
Right, so I will answer the hail. Greetings! You are speaking to Cattle Olan on behalf of the Alliance. We are here to deliver hydroponics to your fledgling colony.
This is Delphine Braxis, General of the Systems Alliance. You were here to deliver. What was that?
Hydroponics, sir. I have the paperwork right here and I will just send it over to him.
Ma'am.
Oh, ma'am, my apologies.
We will take that. You keep your ship in orbit. We will take that information, and you start to go to send it down. You just send down the clean transfer papers, right?
I sent whatever I fabricated back on Omega, like the 10 decryption roll.
Okay. So you send down that paperwork and everything, and she's looking through it, and she says, "And why were hydroponics being transferred here? Who gave this request?" And obviously that information is written on the paperwork, so.
That would be Lieutenant Clark.
A lieutenant
And-
is sending over sending hydroponics to a garden world.
We were just contracted to do this. I didn't question it, We transport stuff.
You may land your ship. We'll be sending the hangar bay to you as well as landing codes momentarily.
Thank you very much.
When you land, keep your crew confined to the ship at first.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you go and you get the coordinates and everything. You go and you land your ship over in the hangar and everywhere you need to go to. So it's an outdoor landing pad. Again, this is a guarded world, so you have to go worry about like flying into a place and like filling it up, pressurizing the air. It's actually nice. You can just legit land the ship, which you can see that Tremi actually does a pretty good job of landing the ship. No problem. It's actually the best one she's done so far because it didn't require much maneuverability, and she's also getting more comfortable with the console and everything she has, with the thrown brick that is a human vessel.
The glorious scrapper.
So, the glorious scrapper. So you do land the vessel, lands down or whatever, and you guys are stuck there for a little while. Eventually, you do get the word that you can start unloading the cargo to the ship and whatnot, and that people will be out there to deal with you. So as you're unloading the cargo to the ship, there are a couple of Alliance military personnel that come over. There's about 5 of them that are clearly guard soldiers that walk over with their assault rifles and their nice Alliance uniforms and everything that are watching. Now they're not wearing Alliance spacesuits. You know what I mean? They're wearing armor, which is a very big difference between armor and combat suits, right? So they're coming out there in the armor. They just get like helmets on their head as opposed to like a huge masks. And they're coming out there. They have their weapons and everything. But at the same time that they're coming out, you do see a half-dozen men come out as well with like grav sleds to come over and help like load the stuff onto the grav sleds. Of those half-dozen men, one of them's got like a really good scanner to scan the actual contents of the cargo and see what it is and to run reports on it. Like you've seen stuff like this before. And on top of all that, after like they're kind of like working with you guys, I imagine you're just helping them, right?
Yes, of course.
Unloading. Do you guys allow them to help unload off of the ship onto the grav sleds, or do you unload off of the ships and they put on the grav sleds?
I'd probably just allow them on the ship.
You have no problem allowing them on the ship?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have, like, we're obviously armed, but, that's for our own protection in case pirates come aboard or whatever. We were contracted for this. We're not specifically Alliance, but we're doing this in the name of the Alliance.
Yeah.
And in the name of cooperation, I don't have any objections with letting them on my ship.